Welcome to the MaSter Debater Show, everybody. The show where we solve pop culture's problems, one outrage at a time. I'm Abe, co-host of the Movies and Stuff show, which incidentally can be seen live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on this channel. I'll be hosting this Oscar edition of MaSter Debaters tonight. And joining me are three other guys who had nothing else to do. First up, it's my co-host, co-founder, cohort of the Movies and Stuff show. He'll watch a TV show long after everybody else in the world is bailed. He'll fight to the death to defend P.T. Anderson. And most importantly, he'll handle Twitter so I don't have to. My man, Dan.
All very true.
Second up is a former radio personality, a current indie filmmaker, and an author. He's the host of the Vegetable Lasagna podcast, which currently can be heard at the Supernuts. And not for nothing, he's always interested in grabbing some burgers and hitting the cemetery. The one and only Tom.
I was terrified you were going to make me do my intro there. I had nothing, so thank you.
And finally, it's the man with whom all conversational roads will end up at Dragon Ball Z. His podcast called Jack Randoms can also currently be heard at the Supernauts. He's also the man that proved I'm replaceable, the Macadocious Jack Random.
Hey, that was pretty funny.
I mean, when Jack's ready to just join our show and I can kick you off, then, you know.
Jack's a better version of me, yeah. All right, guys, as you know, we're talking Oscars today, and this is a debate show. So I'm going to throw out topics. I'm going to set a timer on your ass, and you better get your points out in 60 seconds or I'm cutting you off. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah.
All right. Topic 1. Do the Oscars have a race problem? Tom, I'm going to start with you.
Of course. Well, my timer started. Okay, let's start this then. The Oscars, I think that essentially the problem is what gets greenlit with then what also is going to get funding for the Oscar pushes and the Oscar campaigns, which I don't think are inclusive outside of proven auteurs, and that tends to not be a very diverse group. So I think changing the diversity of the people voting for Oscars maybe will affect sort of the longevity of what gets recognition, and maybe could change that. But I don't think the Oscars are the problem, because I think it's really a problem what's allowed to get made, and then really what gets a push, what gets money in terms of who's the ads on Deadline, what gets the screeners, and you don't see a lot of movies with people of color who the studios think might even get Oscars. Those are the ones that aren't getting made, and I think that's where the problem really is. And I finished with some time to spare, so I'm just going to ramble a little bit on the end here. All right, the end.
Jack, I'm going over to you. Go.
The Oscars do not have a race problem. The Oscars are for and by white people, and I am really surprised when black people get upset when they're unfairly represented or underrepresented, because the only Oscar winners, well, as far as actors or actresses, the Oscar winners tend to be, black Oscar winners tend to be the roles that are the kind of roles that white people see us in anyway. For example, Cuba Gooding, the actor, he was the athlete, the boisterous athlete. Denzel Washington, Dirty Cop. I can go on. Monique was a monster. That's kind of what these roles are. That's what kind of how America tends to see black people. So that's the kind of roles they get cast in, and that's the kind of roles they get awards for. Anything else? It's a Tyler Perry movie.
Dan, over to you.
Yes, they have a problem. It's a huge race problem. Since 1958, there have been 20 nominations for Black Best Actors. There's been 10 for Best Actress, 35 combined nominations for Supporting Actor and Actress Awards, 3 Black directors nominated. I'm going to repeat that, 3 Black directors nominated. So out of those 68 nominations, there were 15 wins. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King had 11 Academy Award wins in 1 year. Think about that. Steve McQueen became the first black producer to win Best Picture, and that only happened 3 years ago. Does the Academy Awards have a race issue? I think you're goddamn right it does. And I think it's beyond that, though. I think America in general has a race issue, since Hollywood makes films for the masses. And the mass amount of these movies that the Academy is seeing are made by white people, starring white people, and they're not taking the effort to go see these movies that are starring black people and made by black people.
Oh, you just made it.
I have so much more that was left in that argument that got left out.
So what do you guys think? I mean, is it really Dan, do we blame the audiences? I mean, is it our fault as much as it is Hollywood? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think it is the audience's fault for not wanting these movies en masse, and it's ridiculous that the Academy doesn't also seek out some of these movies. I mean, how many of you think like took the time to go see Beasts of No Nation, where I can bet you like good goddamn money that Leonardo DiCaprio personally delivered a copy of The Revenant to each and every one of these people that voted, and like bound them to a chair with their eyes like open like Clockwork Orange style and forced them to watch The Revenant, or maybe even just sent like a supermodel with a pre-filled envelope with his nomination checked off for them to just vote. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. There's these movies that they have the chance to see, but they have to go see them, and they're not going to do that.
So it sounds like, I don't know, Jack, it sounds like he's saying don't hate the players, hate the game. Is that it?
Well, that's why I said the Oscars don't have a race problem. I believe that the Oscars, I can't hate the game. It's a white game. Just like you said, the sad amount of black directors, the sad amount of black nominees over these hundreds and, well, was it 67 years now? 87? What are we, 87? The Academy Award?
80.
Yeah, the first one was
Sidney Poitier.
Sidney Poitier, and he played, I believe he was the first Magic Negro.
Yeah.
What was the hell's name of that movie? He played a black man who comes a group of German nuns and basically does free labor for them and fixes up their church and makes everybody in the community happy. He begs for his money. They never pay him. And eventually he just walks off and vanishes and is never seen again after everybody else is happy. I don't know what my point was, but that was the first Oscar winner for a black guy, and he played the classic magical Negro. And those are the kind of roles that, it's like you said, Dan, America has the race problem, and it's reflected in Hollywood. I keep getting into arguments with people who say, well, especially when they were talking about the boycott, which I don't think Will Smith deserved an Oscar. But at the same time, people are saying, don't boycott. You know what? Go to somebody else. I'm an idiot. No, what I'm trying to say is people are asking for a black Oscars now. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but because now black people are getting backlash for having a Miss Black USA or having NAACP awards. And the only reason these awards were ever invented was because we were underrepresented in the mainstream awards. And I don't understand why mainstream means white, but it does.
All right. I'm going to go over to Tom. Tom, I know you butt your head and complain a lot about the inequality in theater releases. It sounds like this is all connected. This is a small percentage of people controlling everything, isn't it?
No, I don't think the average person cares about Oscar nominees generally as far as it goes. I mean, I think a lot of it comes from the Academy will send out screeners, kind of like what Dan was saying, but they'll only send out screeners for certain movies, and they'll only fund the certain small movie if they think it's going to get enough recognition from those screeners and put the money into all that. And they don't really do that for movies like Beasts of No Nation. I don't know who was the distributor on that. Was that Focus? Ooh. Does anyone know? I can't remember, but that was. Those are small distributors. I don't know. I think what would Top 5 maybe would be a recent one where the Chris Rock movie that got kind of an awards push, but that didn't really go anywhere. I don't know. I don't know. Even if you push it out there, just the movies that are. I think it's an issue of they're not going to get that awards push because it's such an exclusive group that gets to make those movies. I think Top 5, didn't Chris Rock fund that one himself even?
I think he did produce it, yeah.
I thought that was the case, and I mean I don't think that really got any awards recognition anyway. But yeah, I think it's an issue of the average person is disconnected from Oscar nominees anyway. It's that very select group of people, and then it becomes this very select group of movies that get greenlit based on appealing to that select group of people. So maybe it's just that. I don't know. I think it's a bigger issue overall.
I got you. So no race issue with the Oscars. There's a much bigger issue.
Well, there is a race issue, but I don't think attacking the Oscars is really attacking the problem.
Okay, it's a symptom.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're speaking of popularity, or I guess I should say populist movies that people feel connected to. We're going to move on to topic 2.